I want to talk about setting up Unity. Been meaning to do this for a while. And what makes this hard is because Unity changes all the time. All these engines change all the time. And right now they're saying get a hub, which is just an access point to get to the actual engine builds, which they update quarterly. The idea is to try to use the tools like they want you to use them. They give you all the tips and tricks, and Unity's really good about this. So let's say we want to start a brand new project. There's a couple key things that we need to be aware of. First off, where are we putting the actual project? For me, inside my documents folder, I'll have a Unity folder and place all my projects in here. And this is where we'll start. So that is in my C drive, that is in my users account, me, documents, Unity. Unity will put it in the C drive, and we don't want it there. We need control of this stuff. So that's one of the first things we want to make sure. Where are we placing it? Second, what engine are we using? You can look for an install editor and it'll see what it has in the actual services. Get whatever they have. And then once you have it, just be aware of which version you're using. All right. These again update often, but they support for a long time afterwards also. So a lot of game engines, a lot of studios use older game engines because they have established a certain structure in the core code that makes their game unique, and an update of an engine sometimes can destroy that connections. So we try to maintain our versions as much as possible. However, there's ways to get in and out of our game engines for our little projects that we're building. Now, one of the things we want to do, new project, go to the templates. Can't stress it enough. The one I'm using a lot right now is this Universal 3D Sample. It's a URP system inside of Unity, which is what we're using. It's a generic but very good rendering system, so it makes your art look fine. So game plays well. So we're going to point to our folder. So I'm going to go to my documents folder, Unity. I'm going to create a new project here, new folder. Sweet. Use that, select folder. Now it says it's real long username, I think. So what we can do here, I think we need to just change this. We'll just call this my awesome project 1. Select folder. Likes it better. So now we want to use version control, we can. If we want to put it on the cloud, we can. Since this is me playing around, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to put it on my local drive. Now we create project. This takes a minute. While this is cooking, I can discuss a few things that are important, at least in the way that I have learned how to use this software and game engines in general. So going into where my art world is, I have 3D art and game as 2 separate folders because I do a lot more than just video game stuff. And any one of these areas that I do have a video game stuff will have the actual 3D scenes, the FBX, textures, and any kind of extra data that I want to put into my project. Unlike 3ds Max, Maya, and Blender, which reference files from anywhere on your computer, Unity actually will have the actual project files in the engine. So, because it gets compressed and when you create builds to send it out as the actual game project. So Unity takes it with us. So we need to make sure that we have 2 folders because I don't want to lose my source. So where I build my source is where I actually get my project started. That's where I'll have all my data for it. Sometimes I'll hold my history in here, like my research, any other extra stuff. So when I'm in development, I want to make sure I have a project folder open to my Unity project and one towards my source so that I can update, copy, and paste. And we won't move these guys because it'll actually just move the pieces. Copy, paste. And then you want to see this if you already got a file in here because then you're updating your files just like that. That's how we manage our files, FBXs, textures, whatever, from the source over here to our Unity project. All right, so here, Unity is up and running. Copy off the idea of what they've got. So like in the art folder, let's look at props as an example. Materials, meshes, prefabs, textures. Well, those are the basic folders that we need for our project. So we don't have a project started yet. We're in their project. So let's go ahead and get some separations. Right click inside of the project window, create folder. My awesome project 1. Open that up, and we're basically going to use the same definitions here. We're not going to be building a whole lot of stuff, so how deep we get into this is up to you, but we can add to it and make changes as our project grows, which is really what I suggest. Let's start off with just using the simple stuff we know we're going to have. I'm going to have meshes. Those are the FBXs. I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate. We're going to have textures. Those are the things that we make inside of Substance. Those textures are going to need Control D. They're going to need to have a landing pad so that we can render it. So we'll need materials. And then the last one is something that will be interesting, and that is called prefabs. And they're basically prefabricated units. So as an example, go to meshes. We'll look at the lantern. If I click on it, you can see here it is. It just has LOD and then an object, and that's it. But that's all it is. It's just a piece of geometry with a texture on it. If we go to the materials, you would see it's probably this guy. Just drop it on there and find out, see what happens. Because the UVs are very specific, so they can only hold one specific map. And if we go look for it in here, it's in one of these guys over here that we can use, manipulate, and change if we want to. So here's something that's added to that, and that's the illumination map material, which is where that glow comes from right here. Now, if we go to the prefab, however, drop this in, everything's a little different. Look at the shadows are different because there's an illumination coming off of this. There's a light source on this object. That is a prefabricated unit. If I were to open it up, I can get the different geometric pieces needed for the LOD plus a point light, which is about the only thing added to it. There's a holder, geometry, and then extra stuff. So, let's delete those. So prefab, we'll be making those down the road. But now that we got our folder set up, all we gotta do is just import stuff in. And it's real easy. 2 ways to do it. One, let's just go up here to my export folder. And we'll hit something simple. Share. Oop. Just like what we're making in the class. I don't know if I have a texture for it, but I'm pretty sure I have a generic texture in here. Something that's just wood or stone. Albedo transparency. Wall plane. Let's just take these guys. Drag. No shine. No shine. Drag those guys in. Oh yeah. Make that a normal map. Hit apply. Oh, we need one more thing in here. Scenes. So let's do our scene. We'll open up that folder. Not that we need to. Then go File, do New Scene. Let's do an outdoor scene, URP. It gives us some extra starting point, but not much, which is great. I'm not going to save over what I changed over here and let it do its thing. I also have a new scene. Now, it's just open. It has not been saved. And it has not been written down anywhere, so we need to take care of that. Go to File and hit Save. Where do we save this? Map, Scenes. Just call it scene 1 right now. Sweet. Now we open that. That's this guy. Great. Now it created a new folder for us, which has lighting data for the actual game engine. We'll worry about that down the road. I put the chair in the wrong spot, so let's just move it over here to the meshes. New material. Bricks. Oops, did a new folder by accident. Create new material. Bricks. Delete. Properties. It's the same thing, except the good news is that when I click on something, it disappears over here, but my texture stays right there, or my material, or whatever I'm looking at. There. Brick and stucco. Oh, great. Meshes. Materials. So the navigate, hold left, hold Alt and left mouse click, middle mouse, right mouse, or hold right mouse button and WASD, Q, E, and I think maybe some other buttons that you can navigate. You'll get used to however you choose to do it. F will frame your camera on your object. So there's our chair. So let's make it a prefab. Create empty. I'm going to name this the chair. Send it to the origin. Always send it to the origin. Go here, just should be able to right click on it and let's copy. Right click on the banner, reset. So that's at 0. Do the same thing. Transform, right click, reset. It's going to turn it 90 degrees because it came from 3ds Max. Hold Control. Let's hide this dude. It's actually better just to go ahead and turn it off. So that's at 0. Nest it. So now P, prefab, chair UV 01. Just drag that, click on the prefabs folder. And now we have a prefab that'll allow us to make duplicates and it'll allow us to make changes. Control D. Now it's 2 chairs. And that's how we get our Unity project going. Make sure you save your project after you do something. So hit save, new scene. Oh, cancel, I'm sorry. Hit Control S to save. That'll save this. You'll see a star gone. Anything you've done in the project window will be there. So it's whatever we do inside of here that's going to make the changes inside the hierarchy